Good day, everyone. This is another class on the topic we've been discussing about, which is Introduction to Chemistry. For my previous video, we also talk about Introduction to Chemistry, whereby we discuss about the definition of chemistry and also scientific method. Now, in the video, I gave a couple of definitions of chemistry, and I also treated the scientific methods, the methods in which science use in carrying out their research. So today, in this class, we are going to end up this topic, which is Introduction to Chemistry. That's why I call it Introduction to Chemistry 2. The previous video, for those of you that have not watched, go and watch so that you get the whole knowledge of this topic. Now, in this class, we are going to be talking about the importance of science, the adverse effects in science, and also careers in chemistry. So these are the things we are going to be discussing about in this class. Now, next up, the first one, which is importance of science. We have numerous importance whereby scientists are brought to us. So we are going to be mentioning 4 out of the numerous ones that has been brought to us by the scientists. Now, the first one, in terms of food aspect. Yeah, the insecticide, the fertilizer, herbicides made by the scientists has helped it helps the production of foods and make the food to be surplus to mankind. The fertilizer used to improve the fertility of the soil where plants are being grown or where crops are being grown. And also the insecticide used to kill the insects on the farmland in order for the insects not to disturb the crops being planted on the farmland was also made by the scientists. The herbicides was also made by the scientists. So all this was made in order to improve the food supply. So that's that. The next one, in terms of medicine, here, it is clear that back then we do use herbs to cure disease, right? But now scientists, the production of drugs, different drugs and vaccines, and even special treatments, such as surgery to a certain disease, especially the chronic diseases, was also, the idea was brought by the scientists. So we now know the kind of drug to use for a particular sickness. Okay, take for example, when you're having headache, when someone is having headache, we know that you have to use paracetamol. Okay, when we don't have the idea, maybe when someone has a particular disease or a particular illness, we say go and meet the doctor, go and meet the health practitioner. They will prescribe, they will tell you what to do, and before you know it, you'll be okay. So all this was discovered by the science to improve the health issue of mankind. So that's that. The next up, explosion. Explosion is another crucial part when we're talking about importance of science. Now, explosion, you'll notice that then what they use as aid or weapons was, okay, they will get a particular thing, they'll try to cast it, sharpen it, shape it to their own desired shape or design in order for them to use during fight. But now it is not easy because explosion, right? In terms of explosion, gunpowder was discovered by the technologists. Do you get? Now, we're talking about the gunpowder. The gunpowder we are talking about was made as a result of some certain things. What are those things? We have sulfur, we have charcoal. Then the last one, we have potassium triazonitrate 5. So these are the three basic things used in making gunpowder used by the military nowadays. So sulfur, charcoal, and potassium triazonitrate 5. So that's that. Then the next one, in terms of transportation, yeah, for transportation, you say that we have series of transportation means. Now, the airplane, cars, trains, and so on and so forth. Ship, right? Canoe, boats, all these are also means of transportation. But if you're talking about the sophisticated one, such as the airplane, the aeroplane, jets, rockets, and so on and so forth. All these are sophisticated means of transportation which were discovered by the scientists. So it is now easy for anybody to transport from one country to another, from one place to another, nationwide or worldwide. So that's that. So, like I told you, we have a whole lot of importance of science, but we are going to mention few from the lots. So now let me add one more to it to make it 5. Now in terms of clothing, clothing, the fibers, you get the fibers, used in making clothes is as a result of what? Of science knowledge. The man-made textile fibers is produced as a result of intensive chemical substance. It's produced out of what? Or from intensive chemical substance. So that's that in terms of clothing. So these are the importance of science. Now let's now move on. Next up. So we'll talk about this. The next one is adverse effects. Adverse effects. Now, when we're talking about the adverse effects, on the norms, we know that nothing will have advantages, just a normal statement, a common statement that people know. Nothing will have advantages without the disadvantages. So it's just that the advantages might be much than the disadvantages. So that's that. Now, adverse effect, which is also known as disadvantages, which is also known as disadvantages of science. Now, one of these is corrosion. One of these disadvantages is corrosion of iron. Corrosion of an iron. Now, when we say corrosion also means rusting. Corrosion also means what? Rusting. So when we say rusting is a slow deterioration of iron 3 oxide. Let me recap. I said corrosion of an iron is one of the adverse effects in science. Now, when we say corrosion of an iron, corrosion also means rusting. When we say rusting is a slow deterioration of an iron 3 oxide. Why? Because iron oxide, generally, iron oxide, they are permeable. Iron oxide is permeable to air and water. And we know that the two things that bring about corrosion is air and water. So iron oxide is permeable to air and also water. So that's that. So the next one, that the hard drugs made for a particular purposes, like the marijuana, cocaine, heroin, India hemps, and so on and so forth, was made for a specific thing, but nowadays people are misusing it. They are using them in a wrong way. So, and in which it may lead to death or a chronic disease, such as blockage of lungs and so on and so forth. So, this is one of the adverse effects in science. Next up. So, the next one is pollution. Pollution, when we say pollution is the contamination of the atmosphere. The contamination of the atmosphere. So, we have series of pollution. It might be air pollution, land pollution, or water pollution, or land and air pollution, majorly. So, you will notice that the gases released to the atmosphere is causing a lot of damage in the atmosphere. Not even making, it also make the living things around that place to be uncomfortable, right? Apart from that, it's also causing a great damage to the atmosphere, especially the smokes. The smoke, the exhaust from the cars, lorries, any kind of machines. These gases are released to the atmosphere. So why did I say that it causes a lot of damage, a great damage to the atmosphere? There's something we call ozone layer. These gases, you see that most of the factories, industries, they will channel the pipe to the atmosphere, and those gases are released into the atmosphere. So these gases released to the atmosphere cause depletion to the ozone layer. It causes depletion to the ozone layer. So, whereby the ozone layer will now be exposed. The earth will be exposed to the ultraviolet ray coming from the sun. So that's that. So these are the adverse effects in chemistry, or adverse effects in science generally. So that's that. Then the last one, we said we have what? Carriers in chemistry. Carriers in chemistry, not in science. Carriers in chemistry. Now, we are going to mention few. Like I've told you, we are going to mention few. For the first one here, carriers, we have teaching service. Teaching service. Now, the teaching service, the teachers, like chemistry teacher, just like me now, I'm grouped under this career. Under this career, teaching service. I'm under teaching service. Chemistry teacher, and also lecturer in higher institution. Those lecturers taking the course related to chemistry are also grouped under this teaching service. Now, next up, we have health service. Health service. Now, the health service, typical examples like the biochemist. Chemists are the examples of profession grouped under this class, which is health science, health service. So that's that. Now let's take another one. Then petroleum. Yeah, petroleum and petrochemical industry. Now, petroleum and petrochemical industries. So, chemist is part of it. The research chemist, not because we have different kind of chemists. The research chemist, basically, research chemist, are grouped under this class. So they are grouped, research chemists are grouped under this class. So then we have other careers too, such as agriculture, but I will use that as an assignment for you so that you can make research on them. Because in this class, will be after we take a full topic, after we treat a whole topic, we ensure that we give assignments after the topic. So that's that. So your assignment goes thus. So you're going to read more on agriculture in terms of career in chemistry. Agriculture and agriculture. I want to add one more so that it will make it two. Agriculture, then manufacture. So these are the two careers I'm going to be giving you as an assignment to go and read more on it. So we've talked about the teaching service, the health service, petroleum and petrochemical industries. So I told you this is an assignment for you. Go and read more on them, like the agriculture, the manufacturing industry. Yeah. So agriculture, the manufacture, or you call it, you can say manufacture or manufacturing industry. So please take note of that. Or manufacturing industry. Or manufacturing industry. So these are, because if you check comprehensive textbook, they will just write manufacture, agriculture, you get? But some textbook, the reason I put this is that in some textbook you see manufacturing industry. So don't get it twisted when you come across that. So that's that. So this will be the end of this class where we talked about introduction to chemistry 2. Let's do evaluation on what we talked about so far. We talked about the definition of chemistry. We talked about the scientific method. We talked about the importance in science. We talked about adverse effects in science, and we also discussed on careers in chemistry. So see you in our next class where we'll be talking about a fresh topic, a new topic in chemistry. Stay tuned for more videos. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment so that I'll be more agile to do more videos. Thank you. Stay tuned and goodbye.